Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. If you don't already know who it is, the one and only, the true Alex J. This is a crazy story. This is about a $4 billion Bitcoin exchange fraud. This is insane. This has just come out. This is from the New York Times. I don't think a lot of people are going to comprehend how big 4 billion is. Like, that's a huge number. It's very difficult to even comprehend, let alone earn. And these guys managed to money launder it, which means it was all stolen money, and they managed to, my goodness. Let's get into this story, shall we? So this is from the New York Times. It says Bitcoin exchange was a nexus of crime, indictment says. Now this happened over in Russia. Of course it did. So it says a Russian man was charged with overseeing a black market Bitcoin exchange that helped launder billions of dollars and stood at the nexus of several crime enterprises, according to a federal indictment. Again, now this is crazy. So basically, if you don't understand what money laundering is, it's basically this bad money comes in. So from a bad place, the money comes in, and they kind of mix it up and they make it look clean when it comes out the other side. So that way, you know, they can use their illegal funds. Otherwise, they can have all this illegal money that they can't spend. So that's what money laundering is. They used to call it money laundering because back in the day, the gangsters used to always own the laundry places. So you could go there and they'd take the cash and they'd pretend that it was earned using the, the cleaning service, and then they would give the money back with profits. So, yes. So now, so it gets a little bit crazier. It says the indictment was unsealed in California on Wednesday, gave a long list of illegal activities that the Bitcoin exchange known as BTCE facilitated, including ransomware fraud, which we've obviously heard a lot about recently. If you don't remember, it's that crazy virus that went out and it was infecting all these people with the Windows XP, and it was basically encrypting all of their software and hardware and everything on there, and it's saying, you need to give us money, otherwise you're not going to be able to get access to your computer again. And this happened over in England. It happened on the NHS computers, and if you don't know what NHS is, that's the National Health Service. So it basically affected all these hospitals. It was crazy. It was national news when they were talking about this, because it was all coming from the American NSA program. And yeah, it gets, honestly, it's just a rabbit hole. It sounds like a conspiracy theory, but the whole thing is true. That's what's so crazy about this whole thing. So it says, so yeah, they know that they were committing fraud with ransomware, identity theft, drug trafficking, and public corruption. Which, that one also made me curious. What kind of public corruption is this? Does this mean like politicians were using this and that's where they were laundering money? Because that could explain how they got away with it for so long. Because what I can't comprehend is moving $1 million of stolen money. I can't imagine that being an easy job. But moving $1 billion, I can't even fathom. Now we're talking about 4 billion. Surely the FBI, all the banks, surely someone is seeing all this money coming in and they're going, no, that's probably bad money. Someone's been killed. Someone has been killed for that money. So it says the Russian man was charged in the case. Alexander Vinnik, 37, was arrested in Greece on Tuesday. Mr. Vinnik had directed and supervised BTCE's operations according to the indictment and is said to have had co-conspirators. Criminals who stole or extorted Bitcoin from their victims would transfer the virtual currencies to BTCE, which would then convert the virtual currency into traditional currency using a host of bank accounts registered under shell companies. Again, that's obviously explaining how they were moving the money. I just can't imagine how they're moving 4 billion. Justice Department officials said that the exchange appeared to have been responsible for laundering more than 4 billion for criminals, which most of the money turned into American dollars and Russian rubles. And again, this is a huge case. That's a lot of money to have been moved around. Now, I have a theory, and you can say what you want, judge me how you want, but this is my theory. I believe that Bitcoin knew that a lot of criminals were going to use this, but it was great for them to start off with so that it would become more of a national thing and more accepted, because the criminals, obviously, they've got nothing to lose, so they're happy to use it, because the average person at the beginning, they're not going to want to use something unknown, untested. They're not sure about it. They're uncertain. But a criminal, they're going to happily use these different methods, because for them, they're making so much money anyway. They have to move the money. So for them, there's no risk really. It's like, oh, if we lose $1 million, it doesn't matter. We'll make it again next week, you know? So I have a weird theory that Bitcoin started and they knew that the criminals were going to use it to begin with, and then slowly it became more mainstream, like, oh, well, you know, if they're able to move money, we'll move it as well. And I think, you know, that's how it kind of went. So now I think we're on the other side of it, where now they're trying to clear up all the bad people, they're trying to get rid of all the criminals, get rid of all that dirty money, and now just bring it, or, you know, keep all the clean money in there. I personally believe that's what's happening. Again, I'd love to hear your opinion. Definitely leave a comment below. So let's keep going. It says the site serves 700,000 customers around the world, officials said. Users of BTCE had noted this week that the exchange's website was down. Through the site's administrators had said on social media that they were working to get it back up. So they were telling everyone, look, we think it's going to come back up. Obviously, it never did. The arrest of Mr. Vinnick came shortly after law enforcement authorities in the United States and Europe took down two big online drug markets in which Bitcoin was the primary currency. And again, this kind of goes back to what I was saying. I believe that, you know, at the beginning, in the early stages, it was okay, it was accepted, it was, you know, is what it is. Now, obviously, they're trying to turn it more mainstream, and I think that's why a lot of this is going to get cleared up. They've taken down two huge online drug markets because, again, everyone knows that there's a lot of problems with, you know, well, I don't know if Silk Road's still around, but I remember a long time ago, Silk Road was the go-to place. Everyone was always talking about Silk Road. You know, it's this underground market. There was loads of documentaries about it and loads of TV programs about it. I don't know if it still exists, but obviously there's more now. So there's different ones. They're even bigger. And again, now they're being brought down. And I'm guessing it's the way that the government are cleaning it up. Again, it's why I've got these weird conspiracy theories. Maybe they're not weird. The indictment may offer an explanation for a shock to the digital currency market in 2014. Mr. Vinnick and his partners are accused of stealing funds from Tokyo-based Bitcoin exchange Mr. Gox, who declared bankruptcy in 2014 after disclosing a hacker intrusion. Now, this is insane. Listen to this, because I couldn't believe this. MT Gox's chief executive, Mark, said that year it had lost more than 800,000 Bitcoins. Just 800,000 Bitcoins. That's a lot of money, and that's a lot of Bitcoins. Even if they were $1 each, that's a lot. But they're way more than $1 each. They're way more than 100. I think it's like $300 each right now. So you do the math. That's a lot of money. And they had all of that stolen. They said some they managed to recover later on, but the indictment unsealed on Wednesday said that hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin moved from Mr. Gox into accounts of BTCE that were directly controlled by Mr. Vinnick. The stolen Bitcoins were then moved to different virtual currency exchange, Bitstamp, and sold traditional currencies which were deposited into banks that Mr. Vinnick controlled in Latvia and Cyprus. So basically, he stole loads of money, he moved it, and then put loads into his own bank account. And they've obviously managed to trace it. They've obviously followed it all the way through. At least 300,000 Bitcoins followed that path. Those coins would be worth 800 million, and that was only 300,000 of them. He had 800,000 stolen, so there's still 500,000 missing. So he's basically made 800 million. Just think about that. Just that one transaction, he did 800 million. What would you do with 800 million, eh? Soon after news of Mr. Vinnick's arrest became public, WizTech, a Japanese computer security firm that had been tracking Mr. Gox's theft, announced that it had been traced and stolen funds to Mr. Vinnick and had provided its finding to law enforcement. So basically, they're trying to say, you know, we really helped in this investigation. We knew who stole it. We found them. We gave it to the law, and the law, they did their thing. This could be true. It could also be a complete coincidence because they were already doing an investigation on the, you know, the big drug markets. I think it's absolutely incredible. I'm, again, very, very shocked at how much money was moving. I didn't realize how many criminal activity and the scale. You know, I didn't know that anyone owned that much Bitcoin. To be honest, I didn't know anyone owned that much Bitcoin. So, you know, it's really shocking to hear that someone had that much Bitcoin and have $800 million. That's a little bit of something. That's a little bit of something. Again, I'd love to hear from you guys. What do you think? Do you think that this is going to keep happening? Do you think more of these people are going to get caught? Do you think they're going to find a way to get around it? Because, you know, that's usually how it goes. What's your opinion about this whole thing? Do you think Mr. Gox is going to get his money back, or do you think it's gone? Do you think... Yeah, I just want to hear your opinions. I want to hear what you think about this whole cryptocurrency thing, about this Bitcoin thing, about all this craziness that's going on in the world right now. Leave a comment below, and that way I can reply to you. Because again, I'd love to hear your opinion. I don't want this to be a one-way street. I want communication, people. Make sure to also subscribe and turn the notifications on, so that way you can get all the latest entrepreneur news, advice, and tips. Also, make sure to follow me on facebook.com/thetruealexj. You can also find me on instagram.com/alexj020. You can also find me on twitter.com/anythingsuccess. Look forward to speaking to you guys again soon. In the meantime, peace.